Can you see that I've still got last night's set list under one of my hands?
I absolutely... You write it on the opposite side to me, so you write it in your sweaty, sooty pants.
I can't believe you're still touching it knowing that it hasn't been properly scrubbed.
Okay, good. I didn't do the math.
Hello and welcome to TrustyHogs, a podcast where we're amazing and then we have an amazing guest and then we solve one of your amazing problems. It's bananas and amazing.
Welcome to episode 20.
It's Helen, Bauer and Catherine Bohart. We're just two wacky fucking mental bitches out here saying the truth.
I actually hate this intro more than I can say.
Through the fog, step forth the trusty hogs. Yeah, you're gonna give them your problems and they will solve them, or maybe they won't, and that's your problem. They'll have guests and Andrew White on the tech. Oh, it's Helen and Catherine as the trusty hogs. Trust the trusty hogs, or maybe not.
Welcome
What'd you do this week?
to TrustyHogs.
You're doing that again, okay?
Through the fog.
No, make it...
I feel like we need to talk about you this week.
Oh, that's kind.
A lot of people are concerned
What?
and have questions about
God.
what's happening on the top of that beautiful Irish head of yours.
Are they concerned?
And personally, as a feminist, I'd rather they were questioning what was going on inside of that Irish head of yours.
But they're not. It's all about my hair, isn't it?
Your hair curls are just, you're thriving at the moment. I'd say the last 3 weeks of episodes, you've just been glowing. It's
Thank
like,
you.
it looks like you're ready to compete in Irish River Dance at any given moment, which I
Thank
see
you.
as a positive.
I'll take it. You know what? I'm 33 and I've only in this last 2 months decided to just fucking accept my hair is curly.
Correct.
It's curly. Like I've always had it curly some of the time, but generally like for shows or for, going out, I would do...
You've straightened. I've seen you straighten it into a French plait.
I straighten it and then I'll plait it, or I'll straighten it and then curl it again. Or I also for a long time did the twist method, where like you wrap it around your fingers.
I
but
know
then-
it, but I've never done
Okay,
it.
but then you need like 8 hours for it to dry and shake it out. And it looks amazing, but I don't always have time for that. So I have recently embraced the fact that it is just naturally curly. And people either have had two reactions. Some people have gotten in touch to be like, it's amazing. What do we do?
Yes.
And I am going to answer some curly girl questions because actually
Thank you.
I didn't know. And the other reaction is to be like, hey, I saw your fringe. You okay? And
Which I think is a good question. Like, I have a theory. I've had it for a long time. Like, the higher the fringe, the worse the mental health.
oh, sure. And I
And
don't
that includes
disagree.
fringes at all points. No matter how
100%.
low it is, there's still something going on. Daddy's not hugging. Someone's not fucking.
You have been recently left.
There's
sure.
a concern.
Have I only ever had a fringe after traumatic events? Sure, but
110%.
this one's actually just for me. But
Okay. You say it and then immediately look off to the side. Like, you can't even be honest with yourself.
well, the thing that started me into accepting my curls is I went finally to a place that actually cuts curly hair, which I can't recommend strongly enough.
Tell us all about it.
They actually know what they're doing. They don't use razors and wreck your curls. And also, everyone else there has curly hair. And I don't know why that made me feel weirdly emotional. But when I went to this... No, but you don't understand. When everyone else is getting like... When literally you're like, oh, hey, my hair's curly. And they're
Yeah.
like, cool, so we'll blow dry it.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
No, I think it's the equivalent of me going into the tool section or long tool Sally. And I'm
it.
like, oh my God, my people.
That's it. And it's just nice to be like, they assume you want your hair as it is, which is nice.
And I want you to tell me about it because I actually have naturally curly hair. I have brushed and serumed this out.
What?
And I am going to do...
What?
I do. I'm like a little duckling.
Helen, you'd be
And-
gorgeous with curly hair.
Stop it.
You would be gorgeous.
I look like the angels from the Philadelphia advert back in the day. Do you remember this? And they'd be like, buy Philadelphia and stir it into your pasta with chicken. And hey, babes.
how
Put
angelic.
Philadelphia inside your chicken and wrap it with ham. Date night. And they would all be on a cloud with a harp and they'd all have like crazy curly hair with cherry tomatoes in it. Do you remember
So
that?
angelic. Okay, well,
So whatever you tell me, I'm going to do and then debut it next week.
I would absolutely love that. Okay, first thing to say is I get my hair cut at Unruly Curls. There are lots of other great places that do curly haircuts, but I think the main thing is to just check they do. The other thing to say is this is something I have only just learned. it matters when you put your product in. So my hairdresser's like, I don't care whether you use mousse, I don't care whether you use like a curly girl serum, if you use an oil, whatever. She's like, it doesn't really matter. Like any old product, they all do the same thing. But she's like, you gotta put it in when your hair is soaking wet. Like before you even get out of the shower, stop, like comb it through your hair and then scrunch until it all like
with your hands.
Yeah. So like I throw my head over, I use Tiggy Catwalk, but that's just because it suits my hair. I comb 2 pumps of that through, upside down, and then I scrunch it until I get all the heavy wet out of it, and then don't touch it. Just leave it alone until it dries.
Not even a diffuser hairdryer?
Oh, you can do a diffuser. That is the only alternative. But if you're going to just let it dry naturally, just leave it alone. Stop touching it. You're going to make it frizzy, right? But the idea that I would always towel dry or dry at least, and then put my product through, then brush it through, then scrunch. And she's like, oh my God, no, just put it in and leave it alone.
It's too late to scrunch it then.
Yeah. And also, so it was fascinating. And then it's sort of this one.
That can't be it.
That is
just
it.
Leave it.
That is it. I know.
That's like when people with flawless skin, like fucking M in the corner there, just like, what's your secret? Nothing.
Oh, no. I know. Yes, I just have no pores. No, but this involves putting a product in properly, upside down. But here's the thing, right? Then I was like, that can't be right. But then then it dries and I need to scrunch it out a little bit more because it goes a bit crunchy and I don't like that vibe. But here's the thing. I thought that, okay, now I'm going to have to wash my hair every day. Yeah. Right. Who has the time? I can't be going out with wet hair all the time.
Preach.
Incorrect. I was watching Queer Eye.
How do you sleep then with it?
So that's what I was thinking, right? So I have one of those like silk scrunchies that you put your hair back, and apparently I was like, this is going to save me, right? It's fine. That's disgusting. It's covered in so much of your hair. Please put that away. She's taken out her scrunchie. It's covered in her blonde hair. So I was like, but every time I'd wake up and my hair would be flattened, and I was like, this is no good to me, right? It's ruined. JVN on Queer Eye was like, put a bit of your product, which I did, a couple of pumps of my product, bit of leave-in conditioner, did that, all into a bottle with some water, shake it up. I just spritz my hair, scrunch it through, it's back to curly. And then I get on with my day. The thing that I'm most blown away by...
You're making it sound easier than it is.
No.
I know you are.
No, that's the thing is, for so long I was like, it cannot be. It must be. I'm not... And I was just weighing it down with product, and then it would just get like limper and limper. But it turns out I just need to leave it the fuck alone.
All that's going to happen when this episode comes out is we're just going to start running into the listeners of this with just insanely bad curly hair, being like, you're right, it works, it's a miracle. And I will inevitably be like, you look great, and you'll be like,
no, I'm not. I will say several things. Stop using shampoos with sulfates in. Use a co-wash every other wash, and try not to use sulfate.
What the fuck's a co-wash?
Okay, so a co-wash is like a Bouclem or a Diva shampoo that just doesn't have sulfates in, basically.
Like Pantene Privé.
No, that would be bad for your hair.
Okay.
So just get curly hair products. That like it's really easy. Loads of the ones in Lush are good, and they're all on Amazon.
And I love Anatta and Lush, so I'm in.
Yeah, or just sulfate free. Sulfate free is fine. So that's the other thing.
Great.
And to say condition, obviously your curls need moisture, like they're dry. Then I realized don't put oil and all that crap in. It just weighs your curls down. They need to bounce up. So just one product, you're good.
Oils are for one thing, cooking and fighting in porn.
You can put oils,
which is the same thing.
You can put oils at the end when it's already dry, but not when it's wet. And the last thing I would say that I've realized is that
more steps. I knew there was more steps.
No, I was just saying with the shampoo that's important. But the other thing is it took me a couple of times. Like when I first did it, my hair was like, I was like,
I remember that day. Yeah.
Fine.
You look great.
Fuck you. And the next
so natural.
But it turns out hair basically like it gets used to being dragged down, so it sort of stayed dragged a bit. And after a couple of washes, I was like, oh, it's getting curlier by each wash because it's like being left do its thing.
Like when you wear a bra that's too small and you have full boob, and then even when the bra's not on, you still have like the extra bit of boob coming out the top.
I've not found that to be true. But
so like if you wear a bra that's 2 sizes too small, you know, we've all seen it on babes when they're like wearing a bra too small and they're wearing a t-shirt and they've got like 4 tits.
Yeah.
Because they've got like the gathering.
But when you take the bra off, surely they just fall back.
If you've had it on for so long, the boob molds into full boob.
No, it doesn't.
It does. It does. Oh my life. I had full boob the entire of 2010.
Behave yourself.
And it was like molded into my body.
Behave yourself.
Now we're luckily back to 2 boob.
Yay,
God bless me.
2 huge boobs. Well, yeah, I just think there's like not muscle memory, but essentially.
I swear my feet are a different shape because I was desperately trying to be a smaller shoe size when I was younger.
Wow, yeah, I guess foot binding is a real thing, but you shouldn't have been doing it.
But I'm going to show them I won't take my socks off. That's probably too kinky, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't
But
want that.
Sign up for the Patreon. And I have like, it goes in so significantly there, but my
socks are
toe is
filthy.
basically. How is that? They're supposed to be purple. That's not white. Is it on the bottom? Is it filthy?
It's filthy.
Okay, well, at the end of the day, I live with a severely molting, middle-aged Asian man. There is a lot of black hair around our flat, okay? It's mixed in with my long blonde hair. But I think I fucked myself because my...
Quite an incline.
toe, yeah, it is. And this toe is like
Please put it
basically
away.
attached to the other toe because it's been pushed in. And this is something I would like to talk about more in depth.
Evidently, since you got from curls to that, please put your fucking
I
foot
also
off
want
the
to end up
table.
on Wiki Feet. Please give me 5 stars.
I don't
Thank
think
you.
they will.
Why did you want a smaller shoe size?
Because I am a size 9, which
Put your
means
foot
that I
down.
okay.
Thank you.
How many times can you ask
Take
me?
your foot off
Put
the
your
fucking
foot
table.
down. I think this is quite common for anyone who's like in a body shape that doesn't mean they can shop on the high street.
Yeah.
So my foot size is 9, which means that I can't buy shoes on the high street most places, particularly growing up. Now there's a couple. I mean, I still have to order them online because I'm a wide fit. But like everyone was getting the same shoes from New Look and from like Primark, all the shit places. But I wanted what everyone else had. So I was in denial about my size, trying to convince myself that I was a size 8 or a 7.
Do you think you're less of a like follower now that you've had to embrace like just having bigger feet?
I want to say it's part of embracing it. I also think I'm lucky enough that I've got to a point with like support from this podcast and also with comedy going better and better that I can afford to get shoes that fit me. I think you can't always like I need to make more of an effort to get less. Like I buy so much fast fashion, but sustainable fashion that comes in my size, like there isn't vintage that fits me just in general. Because back in the day, apparently everyone was like fucking toddler. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So I think it is, I can now afford to buy shoes that fit.
That is one thing I find a little bit frustrating about like the sustainability movement in clothes, which I think is vital and important. But I do think the sort of first of all, I don't think that most women are doing fast fashion as it's actually understood. Like when we talk about influencers who are like throwing away things after they've worn it twice, I'm like, I can wear a New Look dress for 12 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's not fast fashion, right? But the other thing to say is, I think it forgets that, like when people are like, just do charity shops. You're like, sweet. And if I was a size 6 to maybe 12,
Andrew does better in charity shops for women than I do.
Yeah, that is.
He's got the better shape than I do for charity shops.
Well, he's buying elderly, dying women's clothes, so
And they look good on
with
him.
shoulder
Thank
pads,
you.
so they really do. But I just mean like it's really hard if you're a bigger woman to go into
I
a
think
charity
bigger
shop.
and tall. So like the chances
And
that I have
just
my
bigger, I
exact
think.
leg and weight measurements are really. It's just But there are things that are coming up now. But being able to afford to do it is
Yeah.
another thing.
Yeah.
But actually. That would be actually quite useful for me. If anyone listening to this does know any like plus size, like good brands, like not a bank breaker. I'm not at that point yet, but I am willing to pay a bit more for something that's sustainable.
Yeah, totally.
It's a shame because New Look does such fucking cute stuff. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like you should have been. I feel like we're both past New Look age-wise.
But like vibe-wise, I'm thinking so I've made a couple of. I know we've already done New Year's. Like that was a month and a half ago.
I know,
at this
it's
point,
crazy.
Really. I feel like I should have been a bit harsher with myself with what I wanted to be from my year.
Okay, tell
I've
you
now
can
decided.
decide. Tell us.
I want to change my aesthetic entirely.
Okay.
I want to look.
First of all, who learned how to say that word properly? I'm
Neil
so
corrected me 5
proud of
times at
you.
home in one day.
Oh my God.
We had a fight. I cried. I now know how to say aesthetic. You don't say a aesthetic.
No, you don't.
Why were you saying it 5 times in one day?
Because we're moving and we moved. And then we had to discuss the new aesthetic of the property because I didn't think having a Mike Tyson wall and a smaller property was a good choice for the aesthetic.
I get it. Yes, well done. So proud of you.
Thank you.
If you're me, you say aesthetic.
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 Forget it.
I think the vibe that suits me honestly the best always having a bum bag on, looking like I'm an adult at Disney World who's been there for a week's holiday. So a bit dishevelled, a bit tired, spirit jersey on, because I already have only big colourful jumpers.
I don't know that that's true.
And then I'm just going to start bringing back fat lasses wearing shorts all year round.
Can you?
I'm sorry, we don't see it enough. Obviously, we get them out in the summer and it's suddenly a big thing. I'm going to be the big lass in February, just wandering around with little denim shorts on. It's called body positivity. No one wants to see it. I don't want to get them out, but I will do it for feminism.
I disagree. You have killer legs. You actually should wear more shorts.
I do have killer legs.
I know.
But when I was showing them off a minute ago, you were like, get them off the table.
Was it your leg that I had an issue with?
It was
your
attached
leg?
to it.
Was it your leg?
Where does the leg start? That's an interesting question.
It doesn't start with your dirty
sock. Where does
sock.
the leg start?
Not with your dirty sock.
You know what? This is one of those classic debates. This is like philosophy. Where does the leg start? It's like that famous philosophical thing.
It's not
on
with
the
your
spring
dirty
onion.
sock.
Where do you stop cutting?
Above the ankle. The leg starts above the ankle.
Yeah, and certainly not at your
Where
filthy
does the
sock.
ankle end?
Make it stop. I can't.
I'm not gonna answer that.
Don't do it with her.
But it's like, on the spring onion, this is the white, and
Yeah.
that's the end of the green.
Yeah.
Tell me when to stop.
Okay, go.
I'm going to do it towards the camera.
Okay, go. So we're all the way through the white. Keep going to the start of the green. Keep going to the 2/3 down the green, and it's just dregs. Cut. Stop.
I would use that top part for salad. Just me personally.
Oh, okay, I get that.
Andrew, where would you have stopped? Earlier or
I
later?
try to use as much of it as possible.
I don't like spring onion.
What?
I would use the whole thing.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I think I should be using the whole thing actually. I should stop wasting.
And
this
you're
thing.
the reason there's global warming, and the next tsunami's going to be called the Bohart.
Wow.
There, I've put it out there. I'm saying it.
Okay, I feels like you don't know anything about meteorology, but that's all right.
It's the same thing. And I do know meteorology. I've seen Bruce Almighty when he lassoes the moon and he brings it in too close and there's loads of problems and Jennifer Aniston's upset. I know how it works.
Okay.
Do you remember that scene? It was
Consider
iconic.
me corrected.
Like he was God, and within 10 minutes, the character of God had wished that he brought the moon closer and made her breasts bigger. That was his first 2 acts of God.
Can we circle back?
And what's so? I'm sorry, I've just got.
No, it just you're making me think about wishes. Is making me think that you didn't tell us what you should have done as your.
Oh, I will tell
Okay.
you. But when I was younger, we went to Sunday school every Sunday. We were like super involved in the church for a few years. And when I was in I think I was like 12, and you sort of like age out of like baby Sunday school into bigger Sunday school. So one of the men, like one of the stewards of the Methodist church, had like a night at his for the older religious kids, and we watched Bruce Almighty.
I'm sorry.
And we didn't fuck. We did it. I know how it sounds.
What?
I'm pretty sure his name was Norman.
What?
And I was like,
Norman wears like a parka. What are you talking about?
This is Christianity in North East Hampshire. Please be respectful of it.
Okay.
And we had to go to his, and he clearly picked out what he thought was a wacky Christian movie, which was Bruce Almighty.
Oh my gosh.
And then when the breast thing happened, you could just see him and his wife in the corner being like, oh shit. Oh shit.
It's not right. So what are your revised?
So that's my aesthetic. I'm going to go
Resolutions.
full Disney. And also, I'm going to get into theatre.
I thought you were already into theatre.
No. I'm into musical theatre,
songs.
which I have been told repeatedly
songs.
without songs.
I'm so excited.
I'm going to see Wuthering Heights.
How are you saying that?
Wuthering.
Okay. And
It sounds like withering, but it's got a U in it.
have you read the book?
It's well, I've heard the song.
And have you read the book?
The song. Okay, I don't want to be a dick right now because I know reading books is important, but like. The song is the book, right? Heathcliff, it's me, I'm Kathy, I've come home, I'm so cold, let me in through your window,
Great.
Heathcliff. So Kathy clearly has had a fight with this Heathcliff fella. She's been chucked out on a cold night, which isn't ideal. And she's basically like, come on, Heathcliff, let me in through your window.
Silly me,
they've
you've got it,
clearly,
you've nailed
I'm
it.
assuming in Act 1 there's a problem with the door lock.
You listen. Yes.
And
Helen,
then there's some sort of dance and she's wearing a red dress.
the thing I love about you is you're so cultured.
Yeah, I'm seeing it in a national theatre.
Fabulous. I'm actually proud of
know.
you. Can I give you an update on one of my resolutions?
100%.
Because I really wanted to stop drinking for the year, and
You're doing it,
so
though.
far I'm doing it.
You're actually doing it.
I know. I started on the 29th because I thought if I wait till the 1st, it'll feel like some sort of big. I just was like, come on, let's just get it over with. Rip the band-aid off. And
Also, when a girl's got perfectionism, why not start a New Year's resolution on the
start
29th of
early?
December?
And then no one can beat me at all.
That's what it is. If
Extra
anyone else is
days.
sober for the full year, well, Actually, I started on the 29th.
I don't know who that was. But yeah, I started on the 29th and it's going really well. And I have an app which makes it fun. And weirdly,
Doesn't sound like you think it's fun.
weirdly, I'm enjoying it.
You are. You were saying this the other night when I was drinking.
Sorry, I don't want to be one of those people who, I hate those
Oh, you know,
people
I've
who's
actually
like,
got loads of sober friends. My mum was sober for most of my childhood.
okay,
Like,
but I think I'll drink again. Like I'm not like, life is long. I'm not making a rule for my whole life. But I just wanted to be able to see if I could do it because I didn't feel like I don't feel like I have a drinking problem, but I also felt like I wasn't choosing to drink at any point. I was just sort of like, oh, I guess I'm drinking.
going along. We used to do it every week for Giggless.
Yeah.
I'd come to yours and we just get fucking blackout
And I'm okay
hammered.
with that because lockdown was fucking hard. I'm fine with it.
Lost so many Pokemon, bleary-eyed on the bus from yours to
Don't
mine.
blame me for
Like,
that.
Trying to catch Pokemon going past Hyde Park, just like chucking balls.
But I think the reason I bring it up is not everyone is being as supportive as you are. You're just like, yeah, chill, whatever. You're sober or not.
That's
I don't
great.
give a shit, right? And also, I drink a mocktail with the best of them. But the amount of other people, because I'm a fun mom. The point is, the amount of people who've reacted, like who are aghast that I will be attending specifically their events as myself, is astonishing. Like so many people are like, oh, but what about my my birthday? And you're like, oh, yeah, I'll come. And they're like, oh, we're like as you.
Drunk Catherine is fun, babe.
I know, but so is sober Catherine.
Sober Catherine's there.
Wow.
Sober Catherine.
It's right in front of you right now.
Yeah, she's right here.
And she's a great girl. And let's once again shout out to our producer Andrew White for saving that from being a full-on tear moment for both of us.
Wow. Anyway, I don't know if anybody else is
Your hair looks so good.
Fuck off.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else is doing it, but my top tip for that, and by the way, I'm getting out a lot of advice today, which is really absurd because I don't have my shit together.
It fits
but
in with the podcast, though, as always.
Yeah, the thing I have really enjoyed, and I know other people don't like to rely on them because if you go out and there aren't any, you feel a bit screwed, but I genuinely love alcoholic replacements in terms of me feeling like I have something. Like I bought some fake like Prosecco that I put in champagne glasses. It makes me feel like I'm still out. I'm still
like non-alcoholic gin apparently is really good.
I love it. Yeah, I love the Liar one.
Ooh, I mean I don't know any of them.
But it just makes me feel like I'm still having because it's part of it's like
I've got a crate of beer at home at the moment.
I have some fake beers.
It was an absolute disaster. I thought it was lager, but it's IPA. So now Sunil's just drinking through them, and now it's gas.
But
is
IPA
fucking
is
off the charts.
way better than lager.
I don't get it. I don't get the IPA thing.
Oh, okay.
I feel like
Put
it's
a slice
just
of orange in.
it's kind of toxic.
It's not toxic.
It is.
Everything can't be toxic, Helen.
I'm 30. Everything's toxic.
Everything's toxic.
Anyone
Okay.
who's like slightly rude to me, they're toxic. They're a narcissist.
One thing I would like your advice on.
Yes. Oh my God. Really?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah. I know.
Fuck her. No.
No. Fuck it.
When in doubt, put a finger in.
Oh my God,
Okay.
stop. Just stop. Just wait for
Okay.
the question. Wow.
I'm so excited. I never got asked for
So,
advice.
you know, I went to Margate on a little holiday.
Yes.
Yeah. But I spent a lot of the time that I do take off, and I don't take that much time off, but whenever I do take time off, I get real anxiety about not working. Mm-hmm. And you seem very good at compartmentalizing. You work really hard, but when you're on holiday, and you don't feel bad about.
It's because I'm busy when I'm on holiday.
Is that what it is? You just fill it with so many activities.
Well, the pressure of the holiday buffet and like eating and drinking and stuff, like that's a lot of things to focus on.
Oh, okay. So you just feel.
I'd say I'm still working. In many ways, I'm just working on different projects.
Oh, okay. So I thought you might give me some advice on how to unwind and like let go.
No, I do know what you're saying. It's that thing of like when you're self-employed, you feel like you've got to be constantly working because if you're not, then you're missing out on something.
Yeah.
You're not earning, so you're actively losing money, and it is a massive stress. We are inherently better at working with a rest.
Yeah.
You just are. Like, we all know what it's like when you're working with someone where, like, they work so much and they're all go. They come in frazzled because their mind is in, like, 100 different places.
Yeah.
It's not that you're taking time off work. You're getting yourself better for the next week. And I totally know that it feels stupid saying not working is better for work.
No, I know what you mean.
But picking a specific time to, like, not do it means you are better and nicer to work with in general.
I think I needed to hear that. I get immediate guilt. Like, oh my gosh, this is an hour.
The guilt goes within like 10 hours. or 2.
No, which is really bad. I know.
But it's important to not work. Because then what are you working for?
Yeah, you're so right. No, you're absolutely right. But I think I just needed to hear that out loud.
Do you want me to tell you the example of the man who works so much?
Okay.
I love your parables. Just do not have the name.
His name is Ebenezer Scrooge.
Oh no,
Like,
it's
fuck
not.
And he would not stop bloody working. He couldn't stop himself. All that money, but who to share it with?
People were there happily waiting.
He didn't go. Do you think Scrooge went Mallorca? No. And he could. He had enough money. But he was just there, just counting.
Yeah.
Pathetic. And I know that sometimes you just look at your bank balance just to fill an afternoon.
I think as well, like when you're so far away from plausibly doing something like owning property, right? Mm-hmm. It feels like...
Well, it depends on the property you want. You could buy a Wendy house for like 50 quid.
That's so true. You know what? I don't know what I was thinking.
Perspective.
But say but you feel like you're at an age where you should be able to do those things. I feel like anytime I'm not working, I'm like not... You know,
but you will. I understand what you're saying, but I'm literally going to come back with the same point. You're not working so that you can go back to work even more refreshed, even more focused. I come up with ideas and I get so G'd up to work. So even when I take a break, because I genuinely love what I do, you love what you do. Yeah. With a break, I get so excited to go back. I've got these ideas. I want to try this on stage. I want to try and get this pitch in. I want to write this script.
Yeah.
And without that break, everything feels like a stress. And I think that does translate into your work.
Yeah.
So you take the break and you come back even better and stronger, which inevitably, if we're talking purely financial, you will make more money in the end by being passionate and excited by what you do.
She's wise, guys.
And this isn't saying you need to spend like a month in Barbados. It can just be spending 2 days at home and doing an email alert to people being like, hey, I'm having a weekend.
Yeah.
Anyone ever heard of these?
I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah.
It's fine. And I do think people are better in the end of it.
Right,
Look at Steve Jobs. Look what happened to him. He worked so hard, he got cancer. Right? Is that how it worked? I don't know how he got it. Okay. But like either way, worked a lot, you know? Whereas Richard Branson, still alive and has an island. Huh?
Yeah.
Business. I did economics A level. Okay, that's correct. GDP. Hi, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has given us a 5-star rating and review so far on iTunes, who has commented and liked on our videos on YouTube. It makes such a difference because we are a baby podcast. We are producing it ourselves and we really appreciate it. And we would ask you, if you haven't done it already, please do just chuck out some likes. It makes a massive difference to us and being able to keep doing it. Only 5-star reviews, please. We've got some gorgeous ones and we love reading them.
Helen hates the one bad one.
Let's forget about the one bad one. Let's forget about it. Please keep telling us that you love the oinks. It makes my world feel complete.
I hate it.
And what we found really works is if you do really enjoy the podcast and you're not able to support us in any other way, supporting us by listening is amazing. And please tell 5 friends and family members about it this week, and it makes such a huge difference.
Massive. And as does sharing our videos on Twitter or Instagram. It makes such a big difference. Please and thank you.
Thank you.
So this week, Helen, we don't have a guest.
I love this. I love how you're like, we don't have a guest. Like, it's an awful thing. I love it just being the two of us.
That's
and
so
Em,
nice.
obviously.
Yeah, Andrew's not here.
Andrew's gone. Andrew's disappeared halfway through this episode.
So great. Girls' night.
Basically, I told Andrew in the extras what Disney character he was, and he stormed off crying. So it's all over with. It's all over with. So we were like, screw it. Let's just carry on without him.
I was at a gig the other day. Well, we were at our gigless gig the other night.
Yeah.
And Em, I don't know if you ever have this, but there was this 3 people in the front row, right? A married lesbian couple and one of their moms who'd clearly like tagged along to what was evidently a date. And I was trying to explain to Helen that this happens all the time if you're a gay woman. Like, you know,
I didn't think.
it used to happen all the time when we had when I have lived with housemates in a couple, right? Like where if you like, you'll be like, oh, we'll have a romantic dinner, and every member of the house is like, girls' night, and you're like, no, it's not girls' night. We fuck. It's not girls' night. It's not
so
girls'
cringe.
night. Yeah, exactly. And
I can't.
But I now feel like I'm bringing that same energy, whereas I was like, girls' night.
Thing is, I've never taken a guy home that I was dating, and when I lived at home as a teenager, my mum was so like, get the boy out of your bedroom. Get the boy out of your bedroom. I've never had this problem.
No, whereas moms, when you bring home a lesbian partner, they're like, let's all go shopping. And you're like, no, we were going to do a thing that's like...
I don't even want to go shopping with my mum, just me.
Right?
Even though she still tries to trick me into doing it by saying, I'll buy you a pair of jeans. I'll buy you something. And I'm like, it's not worth it.
No, it's not.
It's not worth the £25 you're going to drop in Dorothy Perkins' hand. Like, I'm not being tricked into this again. Because I have to go out the changing room and let her thumb me in front of all the other mother and daughters as they all sit there, like, praising each other.
Where's she
and
thumbing?
she's
Around
like,
the hip?
You're not a size 22. You're lying to yourself. Like, that
wow.
is it. Oh, my God, my mother.
Wow.
Hi, Anne, if you're listening.
Hey, Anne.
Oh, congratulations on your size 8 figure.
Oh, my God.
That you like to tell us about all the time.
You know what?
Sometimes you aren't hungry. We get it.
I'm going to say something about Anne. Size 8 at her age probably makes her look gaunt on the face.
There we go. There we fucking go.
Sorry.
You know what's annoying? It doesn't.
No.
I wish it did. It doesn't. She looks really good, and she can do the splits, which she will tell you and show you.
Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah, she's very flexible.
Wow. Is there not Anne regardless, obviously, but like
Anne
I'd say maybe it's more impressive at her age, but I would say ages between the ages of 15 to 45. Is there anything more obnoxious than a woman who's like, I can do the splits. Do you want to see? You're like, no.
Okay, I do that.
Can you do the splits?
Yes.
What?
It's like it's not through training.
What?
It's just something that I can do.
What?
But it's not like an active training thing.
Are you both very hyper flexible?
Maybe. I don't think I'm very flexible. I don't know. I've never done like a flexibility test.
You can do the split?
Yes. Well, not like side on, like just straight out.
That's incredibly impressive. That's impressive, right?
Yeah, that's incredibly impressive.
Thanks, Sam.
But I'm really, really proud of you that hasn't become like an obnoxious party piece.
Have you not seen me do this?
No.
You know what? It's because I got burnt my last year living in Germany by doing it and ripping trousers. I did it, but the trousers, like, there's certain outfits you can do it in, and obviously there's certain outfits you can't do it in.
Yeah.
And so I went through a lot of years of pulling my skirt up and just doing it just with legs.
Oh, wow. That's also very exposing.
It's still a strong choice.
Yeah,
it's still a strong
it's
choice.
quite exposing.
But with jeans, I had a massive rip, but not in the company of people I could say I had a rip to.
I think it's a true testament to you that I didn't know you could do that, because
Thank
everyone who I know, because I've seen them do the splits, is a bad person.
I want to show you.
No.
I'm wearing jeans. That's the problem, though.
Keep your jeans. You don't want to have to go out with Anne to buy some more, okay? We've been over this.
And then she'll make me go to like a big lady shop and she'll point out how much better it is for me to be there.
Oh my God. Come on. Why
Did I tell you she wants... This is like one of the traumatic memories from my childhood, which isn't technically traumatic, but it was like, it stays with me to this day. So my mother, for all of her... Oh, that's really difficult. She's great. She's very liberal. She's very like on things. And we went to H&M in Reading. Now, Reading for us when we were growing up would be our town we went to for the bigger shop.
Oh, God.
Clearly there was like a wedding or a funeral, as well as needing some new outfits
Reading
for
was
school.
a big day out.
Reading was the big day. Reading or Basingstoke. But Reading was the bigger one.
The only thing I know that's good about Reading is that it's not that far from Manchester or somewhere else you might want to get to.
Okay, well, your geography once again is
it's
frankly disgusting.
No, but when you go to Reading, they're like, it's only 3 hours to Manchester. It's only 3 hours to this place. It's only 3, and you're like, that's a terrible thing to say.
It's close to Oxford.
No, I didn't say it was close. I just mean like the way people sell it to you is like, it's not that long
around the corner.
Yeah, and you're like, okay.
My dad used to work in Reading in the sewage there.
Ew.
Yay! But I was like, I must have been about 13, and we went first thing for the shops to open.
Obviously.
Now, obviously, when you're from Fleet, if you go shopping in Reading, there's a risk that someone else will be doing the exact same thing shopping with their mum.
Oh, God.
If you want to go early, so you don't have any run-ins. It's not good for anyone involved. We're in H&M. It's just open. It's just us in there.
Yeah.
Inevitably, you're nervous. It's not going to fit. It's not going to work. We're going to have an argument. We like different things. I come out. I like what I'm wearing. That never happens. I'm 13. I'm like, it fits. It works. Let's buy this. And we can be in the car and home in like an hour. This could be amazing. I come out. She looks at me and goes, that's not right. And I was like, what? She's like, that's not right. She's looking at the mirror I'm looking in. She's like, that's a slimming mirror. You're not that thin. And I went, what?
What?
And then she was like, I'm going to tell the shop manager. And I was like, Mummy, no. Mummy, no.
What?
Mummy, please, no. Like, please don't get anyone. Please don't get anyone. And she went and got the shop assistant, was like, that's a slimming mirror. This is bullshit. You're lying to young girls. And I was just standing there like, Mummy, please, Mummy, please. Just like freaking out. And then I put my
Helen,
clothes on and then
horrible.
I leave. And then we have to have like a crying Costa and a talk about it.
That's
and
horrible.
She was doing it for political reasons. But all it was for me as a 13-year-old being like, please don't do this. Like, I can't start today like this.
That's objectively horrible.
But you're 13, so you're trapped.
But she basically went, oh, no.
You like yourself in this.
Yeah.
But you can't see what you
We
look
can't
like.
possibly have that.
Awful.
That's horrific.
She's great in everything apart from body.
Good Lord. You know what, though? Like,
And I will never fully recover from that.
no, how could you? That's,
So I look in mirrors and changing rooms, and if I like it, I'm like, oh, I'm probably being tricked.
that's
Even
deplorable.
a couple of weeks ago,
That's
I was
deplorable.
filming something. I had my own trailer. And I put it on, and it was my size and everything, but it's always a nerve-wracking thing when you go to film
Yeah, of
something
course.
that they've brought a costume for you. Even though you've had a chat and you've told them your sizes, I always feel like, and I really double down when I'm telling people my sizes. I'm like, I'm this size,
Yeah.
but also I'm very tall, and I've got really big breasts. And like, shout out to everyone for this past year who has been amazing, and they've all gone on like a glove. But this went on so well. I looked in the mirror and I was like, I look nice. It's got to be a slimming mirror.
Fuck.
And then I actually asked the costume women. I was like, is that slim mirror? They went, no. And I was like, oh yeah, no, yeah, obviously who do those exist? Like,
That's insane. That's so awful.
it's weird, isn't it?
You know something? I think that notion of like never recovering, I totally understand, because
do you have a traumatic shopping story?
not a shopping story, but there are so many moments in my life where I'm still unpacking the bullshit that we're taught about our bodies. And we grew up in like, as did everyone prior to now, / still is now, like grew up in such a toxic environment. Like, for example, my sister reminded me the other day that the woman I read most about when in my like early teens was Bridget Jones.
Yeah.
And Bridget Jones' main character flaw was that
being
she was
massively fat. She was morbidly obese.
Morbidly obese. She was, and then my sister was like, "What weight was she?" And I was like, "Oh, like
200 stone.
She in the books is 9.5 stone. 9.5 stone.
And that's at the beginning when she's at her heaviest.
Correct reply there. What the literal fuck? We were all taught that was like that was her main flaw. Like, she's this like lumpy, dumpy one who can't find love and is constantly trying to fix. If only she could just have some goddamn fucking self-control. 9.5 stone.
It's mad, isn't it?
What the fuck? Like,
I know.
I'm like, oh, no wonder I spent my whole life hating my body. Like that.
I think like, so obviously classically you're coming from the book angle and I'm coming from the film angle.
Yeah.
But I remember I hadn't read the book. I've read it now.
Yeah.
But the film coming out, and we would even talk about it at school about how Renee Zellweger had to gain weight for the role, and it was like, oh my god, now she's got to lose it. That's so awful.
It's so
she
embarrassing.
gained like 5 pounds.
She probably gained more than that, but she became ultimately like a size 10.
A normal size.
And like if I didn't know, well below the average, well below the maybe
No,
it's
the average
maybe
should be 10. I know the average is 16, but lasses, seriously, we need to start eating more celery. It's fucking disgusting. It's not fair, and the people have to look at us.
no fuck off.
It's disgusting.
But it's so crazy. Like, it's absolutely insane.
This reminds me of literally a minute ago. We were all having lunch outside together, me, Catherine and Andrew. And me and Em were sitting on like a long bench. And Andrew and Catherine on the other side. And like automatically in my brain when I'm on a long bench, I'm very aware of the balances of the person who's sitting at the other end of the long bench. Because if I stand up, then they might go over and vice versa.
Funny.
And I was like about to stand up and I was like, oh, Em, heads up, I'm going to stand up and you might. And I was like, no, wait, you're thin. And it was like just that moment of clicking that I stood up and there was no movement. And I was like, wow, I really need to, I can't just assume. I assume everyone is the same as me and has my experiences at all
That's good.
time.
That's a nice way to be, I guess. But
I'd rather be the fat person in that situation because I like on a seesaw. I never have to worry on a seesaw. I have to worry on a bench.
How often are you on a seesaw?
Twice a week.
Yeah.
But I've seen some. Oh my god, seesaws when
In
I
my
was a
head, you now do
teenager,
therapy
and you
on a
all go
seesaw.
hang out in the park even though you're teenagers. I ruined a couple of Emmas and Laurens. Ruined them like vaginally. They were fucked.
We got it.
Like, just me going boom. Oh, just watching Tory Ratcliffe's cunt split in two.
Devastating. Devastating.
Shout
But
out
it
to
is
Tory,
like,
I love
we're
you.
trying to unpack so much stuff, and it's like I don't really know how you get past it. Like
We can't. But
like I don't know about you, but like to live in a time where like I think we still bind so much goodness and badness, like, to fat and thin. And it's like, when you're like, even when you're thin, it's still like so bound in that is your goodness. I was like trotted out, and I know this is not the world favors thin people. I know that.
Oh no, I was thin for a while. It was amazing.
But I was trotted out as like, it was like, oh,
She's
Catherine's
done
so
it.
thin. She's so thin. Isn't this great? Yeah, she's done it. And compared to like cousins, which is just horrific. Imagine having them stand there with their mothers going, see if you could just be like, but it meant that like I was petrified to change.
Yeah.
Petrified. And starved myself for so long to try to stay the same size as I was when I was 16. And now that I eat enough for my brain to function, I can never be that size. And it's like I've somehow lost goodness, and that's fucking insane.
All I can say is like everyone's body's their body, but my body when I was thin, all I was thin.
Yeah.
Because I had to put so much work, effort and focus into it.
Yeah.
There was no room for anything else.
Yeah.
But like other people, it doesn't work that way. Other people have to put loads of work into being bigger to gain weight.
Yeah, or to be funny, and that's not a problem we have. You know what I mean?
It's easy to be fat and funny. Like
no.
honestly, it is. Because there are things that are
But it's
funnier
also
on fat people
compulsory.
than thin people. Like if a thin person falls down, it's a worry. When a fat person falls down, it's like TV burp. Do you know what I mean? Like it is. It's better. It's like when you surprise a fat person when they're eating. Really funny. Surprising a thin person eating. Sad and haunting for some reason.
Oh, no.
But if I'm eating cake and you go boom and I go, oh, you're like, but you surprise Victoria Beckham eating cake and you're like, oh no, she was getting her food for the year.
Yeah, just let her have it. Let her have it. Keep going. I'm sorry, I won't look directly at you. Oh god, it's just so fucked. We just spend so much.
We're so
time
fucked. Should we
torturing
try and fuck
ourselves.
someone else up?
No, I just hate that we spend so much time torturing ourselves. Like, I don't like. And I really, like, I constantly have to remind myself that I am the most successful I've been since I started eating. But like, that's a fucking weird.
Because you've got energy to think and do things.
It's a weird thing to have to like tell yourself like this is good, this is good, this is good.
Yeah,
you're
but you know
functioning.
that it just takes one comment or one look or one slightly tight seat on the Piccadilly line.
Yeah, but I think you know what I was talking to my sister about this, and like all we could conclude from the conversation was just consistently like, we gotta leave young girls alone. We gotta just leave them and their bodies the fuck alone. Just stop talking about it, you fucking weirdo.
I feel like you're saying that directly to me because
No,
I'm trolling
not.
Pancake.
I'm not. No, pancake dessert. No, but no, I feel like I just need to keep reminding myself. And my sister said that was my takeaway. I was like, we've got to leave the young girl alone and leave her the fuck alone. And my sister said something. That was my conclusion. Like, leave young girls be. My sister was like, yeah, and we have to leave the young girl in us be. Like, you have to leave the little girl in you alone.
That's cute.
And I was like, I know that's very earnest to say, but I was like, yeah, I am like, I would never say it to an 8-year-old, but I do say it to myself, and that's fucked.
Well, it's because we're repeating this learnt behaviour.
Yeah, it's so hard to unlearn, but when she said the thing about Bridget Jones, I was like, what the literal hell have we done? On that note, with a little bit of self-acceptance and love in the air, should we solve some goddamn problems?
I hate myself. Let's do
Okay.
it.
I said a little, just a smidge of
You're
love.
reading out the problem. I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
for the first time ever.
Oh my god, how exciting.
Okay, so it's quite a heavy one.
Okay.
Oh, wow, what a start.
Let's keep that tone of earnestness.
Who's it from?
It's from Jay.
Hi, Jay.
There's a lot of praise at the beginning, but we'll cut to the chase.
Oh, wow, savage. I love that she's like, there's a lot of praise, but
Give me one
like
line
a
of
tidbit
praise.
of the praise.
First of all, I love you both.
Oh, okay, we love it.
Thank you so much, Jay. We'll read it off air.
Okay. I've lived in London for a long time, but spent most of the time in an emotionally abusive relationship.
Oh gosh.
My ex isolated me from the friendship group I made at uni, and I've lost touch with most of them over the last few years. I left him about 3 months ago, took a few suitcases and ran, burning bridges with all of the couple friends we have.
Yeah.
My problem is I'm living alone in a flat by myself in Hackney in my early 30s, and I know basically no one in London. I don't have much of a support network at home. I'm an extrovert, and it's killing me to spend all this time on my own. I've been on dating apps for the crack, and I can feel myself using sex/attention to fill the void when what I really need are some mates. I'm going to gigs on my own, walking through graveyards wearing long scarves, murdering all my Sims. What do I do?
Love that fusion.
Murdering all my sins. I love that.
Please help. Thank you.
First of all, congratulations on leaving a toxic relationship.
Yeah, I just wanted
Hard
to say,
to do.
first of all, well fucking done. I'm really proud of you. And that's so brave and well done. The next thing to say is...
All of our listeners need friends. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Are we not going to talk about that?
No, they're not alone, 100%. But I think, I think I have a couple of things, and I'm sure you have a couple of pieces of advice.
I feel like we have said a couple times in the podcast about like feeling lonely in London and finding the other people, your people at groups, at activities, at clubs. But lonely isn't just people. Like it's that like the finding the people that you lost.
100%. I would say that I have a couple things. First of all, I had a big breakup, and it wasn't out of shut up. It wasn't out of an abusive dynamic, but I did have that initial fear, especially because it was during lockdown, that I wouldn't have friends because people would have to choose, and they wouldn't choose me. And what I have realized is that in the adult world, people kind of are more on board with the fact that you don't have to choose. So the first thing I would say is, like, when you say you burn bridges with all of your old friends, that I wonder how much of that is true or how much of that you just suspect is true. And I do think it's worth, because I think you will regret it if you don't. If you reach out and they don't get back to you, you've nothing lost, right? You already think they're gone. But if you reach out and say, I miss you, I would really like to be your friend, I wonder, is that something that you have space for when I'm, not with this person? You'd be surprised how many people will go, fuck yeah, we miss you too. We just didn't know whether or not you wanted to hear from us. Like, it was an awkward, blah, blah, blah. So there's that, first of all. And he doesn't get to take the friends. You get to at least put yourself out there. The other thing to say is, I would strongly encourage you coming to Gigless Live and meeting like-minded people. It's always like, even if you come by yourself, I feel like
they often stay for drinks afterwards.
Yeah, and even if they don't, it's just like, it's a community vibe, which I really like. I would say, if you can, you don't have to say I'm coming off dating apps, but what if you came off dating apps for a week or two?
Well, this is a separate thing, isn't it? It's all part of it, but the like trying to replace like this relationship you're in.
Yeah, because you're not going to find someone good when you need someone for attention. Like that'll attract the worst possible people. So if you came over for a week or two and thought to yourself, every time I'm bored or every time I want that attention, I'm going to reach out to a person I haven't spoken to in a while.
Or monetize it and become a sex worker.
No.
It's always an option. You know, if you're going to self-harm, you might as well make money from it.
No, I do not endorse or judge that advice. But based on how this person is feeling at the time, I think it's probably not a great one. The other thing is, please treat yourself to some therapy. I mean that, not in terms of it being a replacement friend, but in terms of like, goodness me, you've been through a lot. And it's really hard to get to know yourself. Hell knows I don't want to do it. But if you do have to do it, it's nice to do it with somebody who is making sure that your best interests are at heart.
Totally.
After that, join a goddamn old school activity. I'm an extrovert.
Brownies, become a brown owl.
You could be a leader.
Make all your friends little 10-year-olds and tell them about your trauma and warn them against it. That'd be the best brown owl meeting of all time.
I totally get being an extrovert, and I think like an activity where people have the opportunity to socialize, but at least there's something to do whilst you do it. Like, I don't know if you're a choir person, if you're a hockey person.
My housemate's now in a D&D group. Yeah, I'm not allowed to be home when he does it, but like,
yeah. Like, there's stuff you can do. I don't know, like if it's a sport that's easy enough, if it's singing that's easy enough, if it's a class, do a class.
Let's do netball together.
Oh my god, yeah.
J message,
please. But I think, like, really, if you can take some time to be proactive about doing something instead of like doing something that might be helpful rather than hurtful, you deserve that.
One more thing to add.
Please.
This is just so much, Jay, because there's a lot going on here. These are all options. You don't have to do all of them.
Yeah.
Sounds like this partner cut you off from your friends from university.
Yeah.
They're not disappearing forever.
Yeah.
Reach out. Like, they might be upset that they lost you too. They probably are. We've all watched that friend go into a relationship where you're like, oh, you're going further and further. Oh, and you've gone.
So true.
But they're still there. They're still those people that you loved and you knew for so long.
Yeah.
They've watched this thing happen, which is horrible because these things do. These people get into your brains.
But I have been in a relationship that was quite damaging and been cut off from my friends before when I was in university. And I would say you're going to probably have this sense of guilt and shame. But
the ones that are worth it will be there and want to chat about it. And if not, hey, it's an option.
But also, like, what's the worst that can happen? Again, I just think like in the situation you're in, you've already lost them. So what does it? I literally would copy and paste. Like, hey, I'm really sorry I disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a relationship. It wasn't working out, and it made me feel really bad about myself, and it made me feel like I wasn't worthy of friends without any pressure or I just thought I'd let you know that I'm here and I'd love to hang out.
And I think that's just classic, like even talking to your inner child, just sort of like take a deep breath and send it. Like my first day at Tumbletots when I was 4, and I was so nervous, like so scared of other people. And my mum just said, like, just take a deep breath and go, my name's Helen, let's play. And I literally, she saw me, my shoulders went up like tiny little 4-year-old head, and I went, and I turned my back to my mum and I walked over to a group of kids and was like, my name's Helen, let's play. And apparently I never looked back. And now I'm 30. And she's like, I've never seen you come back to me. Like, she lost me forever that moment.
And so she takes that out on you by shaming your body
100%.
in department stores.
My name's Helen, let's play. But that is the same for the message. It's just like taking a deep breath, sending it, it's sent, what will be will be.
Yeah.
But you have reached out the person and you've tried.
Yeah. And look, it's not a reflection on you if they don't come back to you. Like,
no, it's not. They might be in that relationship now. Like, God knows.
The circumstances are understandable. You know, they might have moved on, whatever, but like at least try. And definitely join a new activity. Like a class or something that not only because you might meet new people, but also because like it's really important to carve out things in your life that are now yours, that were nothing to do with him, that he never touched. I think is really important. So like if it's you,
you went pottery making recently. You're the queen of this.
I'm all for learning a new skill if you need to learn a new skill. But like, yeah, do whatever. And I really hope that helps. But honest to God, more taking time to be proud of yourself. You did the big, scary part.
Yeah.
And I'm going to recommend it, and Helen's going to fucking hate it.
Yoga with Adrian.
Yeah, I
knew
like it. It really
100%
helps
knew
me.
it was
She's
going to
like
be
a
that.
good friend, and she makes me feel better. Are you happy now?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Any last words of advice, or do you think we covered it?
I think you covered it very comprehensively. I would say,
Go on.
if you're queer, even though this person was in a relationship with a man, if you're also queer by any chance, there is a really good service in East London called ELOP that provides like subsidised therapy.
Yes, and actually,
you need it.
And there are those provisions as well for people who aren't queer. It's just they're different services.
Yeah.
So you can absolutely look up and pay what you want, subsidised therapy in the interim where you and you're absolutely entitled to do that.
And then just the same blanket advice we give to anyone having a bad time: don't watch This Is Us.
Yes, don't watch This Is
Don't
Us.
watch
That's
This Is Us.
completely reasonable, very sound.
Listen to
stuff.
Disney. Don't watch This Is Us.
Yeah, and also get into like a long series if you can. I found post breakup, honestly,
Yeah.
like
Which one did you go for post breakup? I don't remember.
The Office, the American Office.
Oh, that's a great one.
Helped me so much because it was like, cool, there are a bazillion episodes per series, and these people, I missed them so much when they were gone, but they got me through a really tough time.
I did a Heartbreak Big Bang Theory once.
Nice.
The whole thing. It was incredible.
I love that. I also love Superstore on Netflix if you need a character-based bunch of gals.
Amy, Jonah.
So good.
It's not good, but
Dina's
it's good.
amazing. Don't
Dina
you
with
dare.
the birds.
Yeah, love.
Yes.
So there's some advice for you on that. Shall we do another problem since we don't have a guest?
Wow, what time are we on?
we have time.
We've got plenty of time.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do one more problem.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay,
great.
this is relevant to what we were talking about
I
earlier.
have an eyelash
So
in my eye.
Wait a second. We can't give help until Catherine gets an eyelash out of her eye, everyone.
Sorry. This is so... Oh, my God.
Come here.
No, I think it's gone. Is it gone?
I can't see it.
Okay.
Maybe it's just a scratch now.
I think we're good.
yeah.
Okay,
Let's
problem
go.
2, los geht's.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Hi, TrustyHogs. This is from P.
Hi, P. Oh, I love P because it reminds me of Kourtney Kardashian's daughter.
Hi, TrustyHogs and Tech Piglet. I'm seeing a few girlfriends this weekend that I haven't seen in over a year. I love them all very much, and
Great.
they're not particularly judgmental. However, they are all quite athletic and slender, and in contrast, over the past year, I've gained a lot of weight.
Preach.
Not due to negative events or trauma, just to discovering the true joys of food over various lockdowns and dating.
I love P. I love P.
Look, can you repeat that sentence? Because I think it's really, really great.
Over the past year, I've gained a lot of weight, not due to negative events or trauma, just to discovering the true joys of food over various lockdowns and day-to-day stresses.
Fabulous.
I'm worried that it's going to be an obvious elephant in the room situation, and I don't know if it would be worse if it's mentioned by the others during the weekend or if it's not mentioned at all. I can't stop myself feeling self-conscious about it, and I don't know if I should just own it and acknowledge it with them or just try not to think about it at all. But relatively speaking, I know deep down it's not a big issue and it won't affect their weekend, but it's still hovering over me.
Okay, first of all, don't put yourself down by saying it's not a big issue, because it's a big issue for you at the moment. Not that weight's an issue, but it's the fear of it is an issue. I am insanely body confident. I get naked all the time. I'm nervous to go back to Germany, which I'm hopefully doing at some point soon, because I haven't been there in 2.5 years, and I have gained fuck tons since then. And I'll be around people who are German as fuck and will just say it.
Oh, really?
And I personally, with my family, I can't address it. I will wait until they make a comment, pretend I don't care, and go outside and have a cigarette.
Yeah.
Whereas with friends, I will 100% bowl in as the fat lass, reference it myself and move on. But referencing it in a way with a full stop at the end of it.
Right. So how, for example, would you do that?
Oh my God, I was going to wear this outfit, but I tried it on and oh my God, I have gained so much more than I thought I had. It didn't fit. So this is me now.
Okay. And do you think that helps you in that scenario? Like, as in, is that what you think she should do?
This is the thing. I think everyone is so personal with weight. I find it easier to mention it, get it done with, and then everything else around the weekend, I bowl into as fast as possible.
Okay.
Now, does this make sense? Or is this the thing that's in my head? So like, as fast as possible, when there's like, when you've gained a significant amount of weight and you're around a lot of people, the fear of eating in front of them becomes a very big thing. Like, people are watching you eat. They're going to be judging what you're putting in your body. So as soon as the food is laid out and it's a buffet, just go for it. Don't hang back. Just go in with everyone, grab what you want. Yeah. It's all fine. Yeah. If that, like,
here's what I would
if there's a hot tub situation, be the first in your swimsuit and get in. Don't be like awkward putting it on. Everyone else is fucking terrified and awkward as well. Chances are your skin's nicer than them because you're more fuller out and your tits are better than their deflated.
Yeah, you got all your vitamins. You've got all your vitamins.
All your vitamins. Get in the pool. Confidence is so attractive.
It is. It really is.
It just is. And I wish I didn't feel the need to mention it in a self-deprecating way. I'm not there yet, not doing that.
Yeah.
I'd love it if P is, but if you're not, make a joke about it, reference it, move on.
Yeah.
And if one of those bitches starts trying, DM me and I'll send you my number and put me on speaker. Swear to fucking God.
I think that's really good advice. I have two things I think that might be relevant.
Go for it.
I have some friends who love to go swimming in the sea. I have a lot of anxiety around my body, unfounded, rationally, but nonetheless true for me. And in order for me to, I really want to start doing things that I had stopped doing just because I don't want to be seen. And so I would usually, in a scenario, I would just not get in the water. So what I did in the last time I went there, and I really wanted to get in the sea because I hadn't been in the sea the whole of lockdown, I just said, hey, I want to come swimming. Can I please ask that that I'm going to not talk about my body and I won't talk about your body? Is it cool if you do the same about me? And they were all like, what? And I was like, I know it might sound silly, but I'm just not comfortable with it right now. And I'll feel better if I just know we're not going to mention it. And literally everyone was like, it's interesting. I was with a straight couple.
Everyone's relieved when you say it.
Oh my God. But what was interesting was it was him. He was like, oh my God, same. Yes, please. And you never know who's having that same feeling, but I didn't think it would be like this.
Just assume everyone's having that feeling. Yeah. I look like I don't because I have it the most.
I think a bit of honesty is okay too, to just be like, hey, I'm experiencing this. I feel I know none of you are judging me, but is it okay if we don't talk about it? And literally people will be like, of course. The other thing to say is you've said that they're your friends, they love you, you love them, and specifically that they're not very judgmental. I would try, if you can, to treat yourself at the weekend like you would if it was any of them who'd put on weight. By which I mean,
I hate that we're having this chat about.
So do I. But I know that scenario of not. I have not gone to things because I've put on weight. I'm already like, good for you for going. Like I know that's so fucked and speaks to such a disordered way of thinking about myself. But like, if it was them, you wouldn't give a shit. Like, you truly wouldn't.
It's so true.
You might not even notice. And if you did notice, you would, like, First, if any,
But that's the most annoying thing is they probably haven't noticed, and then you bowl in and go, old Gubbins here spinning in the pies, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, and in terms of like elephant in the room, like I don't know that they will actually be thinking, gosh, it's the elephant in the room, and I have a strong feeling they'll just be like, oh, okay. Because literally we're all so fucking self-involved. We are so self-involved.
And when in doubt, cut a fringe and get a facial piercing. It distracts everything.
Distract. Big sunglasses, fun hat.
Big sunglasses and a fun hat. Actually, yeah, P, can you forget everything we've said until this point? If you're feeling awkward about gaining weight, massive sun hat, insane sunglasses. Are you picturing the hat glasses combo of Meredith Blake and The Parent Trap?
Absolutely.
Me too, that's so mad.
The other thing to say
Face tattoo.
Yeah,
Like,
why not?
lean in.
Absolutely. Little droplet, little teardrop. Make them ask the real questions. But genuinely, what I would say as well is like, you're not alone. Like, who the fuck went through lockdown and didn't gain weight?
I know people.
What? Well, they're scabs. They're fucking scabs. They're scabs. Like, that's what we all did. Because life was miserable.
It was difficult. I misunderstood the saying when they said if you haven't got a puppy or a baby or an air fryer in lockdown, you haven't done it right. But I thought they were saying fryer as in deep fat fryer. So I thought we were all gaining weight.
We were.
I thought we were all gaining, and everyone was frying things with air.
But I promise
Which
you,
I already have more of because of the mouth breathing.
of course. But honestly, I just think like they would never. If they are actually thinking anything remotely judgmental, that says way more about them than you. Fucking go enjoy your weekend, have fun with your friends, and as best you can, fucking just enjoy your body.
Let us know how it goes. I'm genuinely excited for you.
Please do.
I think you're going to have a lovely time and be like, why was I worried? And then write yourself a little note when you come back from it to remind yourself of next time.
I think that's a fair shout. I really do. When you say, by the way, just to circle back to Germany, it's so funny because it's so interesting that you were thinking like, oh, great, they're going to mention this. Whereas like, I wonder how many of them must be like, oh, I'm really excited to see Helen, but I also wonder if it'll be weird because like she's so successful now. Like if you started comedy with them, no, but you've just done Live at the Apollo. You're doing big television shows. It's so funny how
gives a shit.
But that's the point is depending on the person, that's exactly what they'll give a shit about. And I think, or they'll be thinking like, oh, I haven't done that much. Or like, you'd be surprised. People's perception of scenarios are so fucking different.
And there's me like putting it off being like the ideal to be slightly like more successful and happy when I get back.
And they're like, it'd be ideal if I had got one job I could brag about when I saw her.
About that. You're right. Live at the Apollo's come out and I was big in that. If they've seen it, they've seen it.
Yeah, but they're also...
The damage is done, P. Right, that's Deutschland.
No, but
to the airport.
My point was more that they'll be like, she was on fucking Apollo. What have I done? And that they also shouldn't be thinking that way. My point is
I totally get it. And I cannot make out how little of a thing Live at the Apollo is in Germany.
but that's also great because for some people, that's how little weight means. You know what I mean? Like, they'll be like, okay,
yeah, did
you?
Smurfs.
Okay.
No one was ever like Smurf, that's big.
Do you have any other advice, Em?
No, once again, very good advice.
I don't think I should really be speaking that much on this because I don't really know. Like, I know that obviously...
I spoke about the troubles, you can talk about this.
Okay, fair enough. But my point is that it's all in our heads and in many ways anyway, so fucking fuck it. Also, like... Do you honestly think that you're meeting up with a gang of women and they're all like, my body's the best it could ever be? Even if they're thin, they'll fucking hate themselves for a different reason.
£1,000 sisters, Amy and Tammy, together £1,000. They just went on holiday.
Good for them.
And like, P, I'm not saying anything. I know you've gained weight during lockdown, but I seriously doubt you're £1,000. I really doubt.
But you know what? They deserve a holiday too.
Amy and Tammy? Yeah, they had a great time. Apart from Tammy got annoyed on the second night and went home early.
Oh, okay. Well, I bet you Amy had a better time.
Yeah, well, Amy was with her baby. Amy's got a baby. Tammy doesn't. It's a whole thing.
Listen, can you please let us know how the weekend goes? And thanks for writing in.
And thank you for listening to Trusty Hogs.
Absolutely.
Right, should we go look in the mirror and cry?
What?
Feminism!
You think I'm going to believe a mirror after today? Have a great week, guys. Bye. Be kind to yourself.
Don't. We should all be the ones.
No, be kind to yourself. Bye. We so appreciate the support. Please help us keep the podcast going. Thank you so much to our exec producers, Guy Goodman, Simon Moores, Janinna Bautista, and Mary Fox. We are so grateful.
Amazing.
And thank you also to our wonderful producers,
yes.
Melissa Dunkeld, Carrig Duke, Sarah and Molly, Aideen McQueen, Caitlin Lyth, Joe Holmes, Zoe, Kim Doyle, Lee Myerscough, is that how I say it?
Yeah, that's it.
Rachel R, David Walker, Tim and Dom, Kierah Leach, SBDubz, Elle, Richard Ball, Sadie Cashmore, Neil Redmond, Claire Owen-Jones, Jess Nick, Victoria Hutchison, Emma Walton, Anthony Conway, Karen and David Bull, Harald van Dijk. We're so grateful.
Watching that list grow,
It's so nice.
makes me feel like it's Valentine's Day every day.
Oh, behave yourself. In that she is almost coming, but not quite.
Oh my god, it's all happening so fast.